Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to do a deep dive into motorcycle safety in traffic.
Okay.
We're looking at this article, Riding Safe in Traffic, Strategies for Motorcyclists by K.R. Andre, published December 12th, 2024. Super recent.
Yeah.
So we'll see if this has any new tips or tricks for staying safe out there.
Always good to refresh.
Right. So the article kicks off, talking about visibility, which on the surface, you're like, well, yeah, of course. But then it hits you with the fact that a lot of accidents, happen because drivers just don't see motorcyclists.
Right.
Like, we just vanish.
It's true. It's called unintentional blindness.
Yeah, that's what the article says.
Yeah. It's not that drivers are intentionally ignoring us or anything like that. It's literally their brains are filtering us out because they're not actively looking for motorcycles.
Interesting.
It's like when you lose your keys.
Yeah.
And they're right there on the counter.
Oh, yeah.
You just don't see them.
Yep.
Been there. Okay, so how do we combat this inattentional blindness? How can we stand out, in a sea of cars?
Well, brake gear always helps, acting as your personal beacon.
Sure.
But think beyond just like a bright jacket, right? Reflective strips on your gear, on your bike.
Right.
That can catch headlights from different angles.
Oh, okay.
Even those quick side glances drivers give, And don't forget daytime headlights.
Now, see, that one I've heard before, but never really understood, why during the day.
It's all about disrupting expectations.
Okay.
You see a car with its headlights on during the day, you think something's up, right? They're
Yeah.
leaving a parking garage or maybe turning, or who knows, maybe something's wrong with the electricals.
Ah, yeah.
Makes you take notice.
Right.
So when a motorcycle has its headlights on, it's kind of like this visual siren.
Gotcha.
It jolts them out of their autopilot. Like, hey, I'm here.
Exactly. Simple, but effective. Studies show it actually reduces accidents. Now, another thing the article talks about is lane positioning.
Yeah.
It's more than just staying between the lines.
Right. It's like a strategic game almost.
It is. It's about maximizing your visibility and creating escape routes, especially when approaching intersections or, sharing the road with larger vehicles.
Okay.
Think about it. If you're tucked right behind a massive SUV, not only are you invisible to other drivers, but you've also boxed yourself in.
Oh, yeah.
If that SUV has to slam on his brakes, you're in trouble.
So you're saying you got to position yourself so you can see and be seen.
Yes.
But also with space to maneuver.
Exactly. You want to be predictable, but also ready for anything. And speaking of unpredictable, let's talk about tailgating.
Ah, yeah. Tailgating. The bane of every motorcyclist's existence.
It's more than just annoying on a motorcycle.
For sure.
It's dangerous. The article mentions the 2-second rule.
Right.
But how does that actually work in real life?
Yeah.
Imagine you're cruising down the road, the car in front of you slams on their brakes.
Oh.
You need time to react, time to brake safely, maybe even time to swerve if there's something in the road.
Right.
That 2-second gap gives you that buffer.
Makes sense.
That split-second advantage that could be the difference between a close call and, well, a really bad day.
Yeah. We've all had those moments, where someone cuts you off and you realize, oh, I had zero space to react there.
Exactly.
And on a bike, that's a whole other level of scary.
It is.
So, yeah, that 2-second rule, it's not just a suggestion. It's like survival.
It really is.
Okay, so we've talked about being seen, lane positioning, keeping a safe distance. But this article also talks about anticipating what other drivers are going to do, which, that sounds like mind reading.
Yeah, it's not quite telepathy.
Okay.
But it is about developing that sixth sense for predicting, other drivers' actions. It's almost like you're watching a movie and you know what's going to happen before it happens.
Right.
You see that driver fiddling with their phone, their head turning before they even signal, and you're like, oh, here we go, sudden lane change.
It's those little cues.
Exactly, being an active observer, constantly scanning the road, looking for those clues. And remember, turn signals, they're not guarantees.
Oh, yeah.
They're intentions, not promises. Always double check, especially at intersections.
Okay, so you're saying treat turn signals as suggestions.
Pretty much.
Not commands.
Right. Verify before you act. And that leads us to one of the most important concepts in the article, and that is defensive riding.
Defensive riding. See, now that sounds a little intimidating, like you got to be constantly on edge.
No, not really. It's not about being paranoid or anything. It's about being proactive, prepared.
Okay.
Think of it as creating a mental safety bubble around yourself, always having an escape route.
So it's like you're playing a video game and you're always thinking about what the next level is going to throw at you.
Exactly. You're staying one step ahead,
Mm-hmm.
not just reacting to what's happening, but anticipating what could happen.
Okay, so assume you're invisible, ride accordingly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not pessimistic, just realistic.
Mm-hmm.
And that realism can save your life. And remember, traffic, it's not static.
Right.
It's always changing.
Oh, yeah. The article talks about how we have to adapt our writing style to different situations, environments, like rush hour versus, say, highway riding.
Yeah, rush hour, it's all about patience, lane positioning, hazard perception. You've got distracted drivers, stop-and-go traffic. Everyone's in a rush, right? So smoothness is key. Avoid any sudden movements. Anticipate brake lights. Maintain that 2-second gap each when it feels like everyone's on your tail.
It's finding that zen, like, amidst the chaos.
Exactly. Highway riding, though, that's a different beast.
Right.
It's about maintaining a steady speed, being super vigilant for merging vehicles, resisting the urge to, twist that throttle too hard.
Yeah.
Speed, it can be tempting, but it also reduces your reaction time.
Absolutely. And then you've got urban riding, which is like, I don't know, an obstacle course on 2 wheels.
Yeah. Urban environments, they demand a lot. Heightened awareness. You've got pedestrians, cyclists, delivery drivers, zipping in and out.
Yeah, they're everywhere these days.
Constant adjustments, quick decisions, always have an escape route. Lower your speed, scan those intersections, and be ready for anything.
Good advice. Speaking of being ready, the article mentions, emergency situations. No one likes to think about them, but they do happen.
Right. Practice is crucial.
Okay.
You got to build that muscle memory.
Yeah.
Quick stops, swerving, all those emergency maneuvers.
It's like a fire drill for your motorcycle.
Exactly. And don't forget the mechanical side.
Oh, right.
Regular maintenance.
Yeah.
Make sure bike is ready to handle those emergency situations.
So brakes, tire pressure, lights, all that.
Everything. It all matters when you need to make a split-second decision.
Okay, and what about distractions?
Yeah.
In this day and age, it's tough.
Distracted riding, it's a major problem. And it's not just about texting or talking on the phone.
Right.
It's anything that takes your focus away, even for a second. It's like, I don't know, juggling chainsaws while riding a unicycle.
Okay, that's a visual, yeah.
The key is to minimize multitasking. Avoid messing with your GPS, music, any devices. If you need to, pull over.
Makes sense. And if you're feeling tired, mentally fatigued, take a break.
Absolutely. Better late than never.
Right. Now, the article doesn't explicitly mention community, but it feels like it's there.
Yeah, I think you're right when it talks about drivers not seeing us. It's not just about individual awareness. It's about a collective mindset,
Oh, okay.
If more people were just aware of motorcycles on the road, if it was just like part of the culture, it would naturally reduce accidents.
So how do we change that mindset? What can we do as riders?
It starts with us.
Okay.
We're ambassadors for safe riding. Every time we gear up, every time we signal clearly, every time we practice those defensive maneuvers.
We're leading by example.
Exactly. Showing drivers that we're not just daredevils.
Right.
We're skilled, responsible road users.
Yeah.
And it goes beyond just our riding habits. We can advocate for safer roads, support motorcycle awareness campaigns, encourage our friends and family to be more mindful.
So using our voices,
Yes.
our actions, our influence.
To create a safer environment for everyone, it's about shifting the perception. We're not a fringe group. We're part of the ecosystem.
I like that. And that shift starts with each of us.
It does.
So we've covered a lot today. Lane positioning, community. Wow, it's amazing how much there is to unpack just from, one article.
Right. It really highlights how staying safe, well, it's a journey.
It is, yeah. It's not, just a one-time thing. We have to keep learning, keep adapting out there on the road.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, though, anything from the article that, I don't know, really jumped out at you? Anything we haven't touched on yet?
What struck me is that motorcycle safety, it's not just about avoiding, the worst-case scenario. It's actually about enhancing the joy of riding.
Now, that's interesting. How does being safe make riding more fun? I get that it reduces anxiety, but how does it add to the actual pleasure of being on the bike?
Think about it. When you're confident in your skills, when you're aware of your surroundings, prepared for the unexpected, then you can relax. You can actually experience the freedom, the exhilaration of riding. It's like the difference between, I don't know, tiptoeing through a dark room and just striding through a well-lit space.
Yeah, Yeah, I get that. It's that, like, flow state, right? You're
Exactly.
one with the machine,
Ah,
not constantly worried.
you're in the moment. The wind, the lean into a curve, the sound of the engine.
It's almost meditative.
It is. Safety. It's not just the rules.
It's like the foundation.
Yes, for that pure riding bliss.
So safety unlocks a new level of enjoyment, not a limitation, but a key.
Exactly. And that's important, not just for us, but for the whole motorcycling community.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's like one takeaway you hope our listeners will, remember today?
Never stop learning. Keep honing your skills, refining your awareness, searching for new knowledge, and share it.
Yeah, sharing it, that's key, right? Creating a safer community for everyone.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, to everyone listening, if you want to dive deeper into these topics, check out K.R. Andrews' article. It's called Riding Safe in Traffic, Strategies for Motorcyclists. We'll put a link in the show notes. Ride safe, ride smart, and most importantly, ride with joy. Until next time, keep the rubber side down.